Welcome back, everyone. We are looking at the Chanel 9 pans today. Now, I did a look with each and every palette. I have the final look on my eyes right now, and we'll talk about that one last. But first, what I want to do is show you each palette in comparison to one another. I tried my best to match up the colors, basically like all the blacks align and all the blues align. It doesn't work perfectly because of course there's not exactly the same number of shades, like there's not the same number of blue or greens in each one, but this will give you, I think, a good comparison of the three if you're considering just getting one, or maybe considering getting two, or considering if you should get all three. All right, so I did it numerically. So the first one on top is 847, the Daring Muse. When I say on top, it is the top of the arm. Then you go to the second one, which is the new Singular, which is 848, and the bottom 849, the Space Traveler. So those are the three, and like I said, I tried to the best of my ability, show you them in comparison, the shades matched up as much as I could. Took a video of it as well. This is I'm out on my deck. There's direct sunlight. It's actually very bright today and warm. And so you can see all of the shades in their glory, because some of the shades are very sparkly. If you look at the black shades, you'll notice that the only black that has shimmer to it is the Muse palette, the 9 pan. The rest of the blacks are either satin or matte. I would say the Singular is more of a satin, and then the Space Traveler is black. It's a matte. So that, that does make a slight difference, but the shades are very similar. The most sparkly one is Muse. I think that has the most glitter, sparkle in it. The most, quote, unique one is the Singular, because it has shades in it that generally, they're very different. There's these puce, what I call puce, but also pea green, and then purple, and then brown, and then gold together, which, not everybody is going to be attracted to. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a unique look for folks. It's the one I have on my eyes right now. We're going to do that one last. And then the Space Traveler, which is at the bottom, is, I think, a good balance of mattes, satins, and like shimmer shades. Again, I don't, when I think about cohesiveness of a 9 pan, I don't really think these are cohesive in the way that, say, the quad is cohesive. It's basically blues and purples. I love it, but again, and I think that's because, in my opinion, Chanel did not say this to me. In my opinion, this was the opportunity for each member of the Comet's collaboration, the three people that have been making up the, collective that Chanel has been using while in between creative directors before Blazy starts. Blazy started, but the first collection should be shown very, very soon. I think they each took a palette and decided these are like my color stories. So the Muse, for example, which is, again, that top one that's very shiny and bright, it says, Amy Germain reveals the boldness and power of women with a palette pairing greens, blues, and deep reds, with metallic sheens, rosy golds for a glamorous but yet modern look. So this is the look I came up with for Muse. Muse is my favorite still. I really like this color story. I think it's quite beautiful. I love blues and greens. Anybody who knows me is going to know that I'm going to be interested in that. The browns in here are great. The gold, the black is sparkly. You have this kind of gorgeous mermaid color. That's my favorite. But all of these are buildable. So if you're taking, say, like the green shade and it's not your favorite shade, and you add a purple to it, you're going to get a new color. If you add a yellow to a blue, you're going to get green. They're very buildable and very blendable. If you watch my live I did the other day, you'll see that I put on like 20 different colors, and the look is not muddy at the end, not at all. In fact, it looked quite beautiful. And it really, it wasn't anyone. Basically, I was asking the members on the live what they wanted to see, what colors they wanted to see. And so we just played with it, and it ended up looking great. So these are excellent formulas. They're very buildable. For 9 shades, $160 from Chanel is probably pretty much in line with, where they are. I think the Byredo palette has similar formulas, and you get how many shades are in there? 18? I forget, my brain. Sorry, I had a whole bunch of vaccines today. It's possible that it's starting to affect me, or it's just me. But yeah, it's 120. So, and I think it's more every day for most folks. Minerals is still my favorite one, Mineralscapes from Byredo, but then one that came out this year, definitely more warm tone, but again, I really love that palette. So if you're trying to choose between like a mineral, if you're trying to choose between like Byredo and these, I'd still go with the Byredo. I think they're more usable. However, these are fun. These are fun, these are different, and each one has its own personality. So the next one, Space Traveler. The Space Traveler, it says, passionate about science fiction, Valentina Lee draws inspiration from this universe to create her palette, blending intense oranges, cosmic blues, deep purples, and metallic effects, opening up infinite possibilities for looks. I really like Space Traveler. I think it's very beautiful. The blues and the purples in here are great. The gold in there is great. The browns are very grounding, and I think they work really well. I would say that's my second favorite. I think they're close for me in taste. The look that I did with it, I thought was really pretty. I like the way that it ended up. Again, I feel like all of these looks are actually really nice, and you could do so many different things with these. I tried to use every single shade. And when you try to use every single shade to create a look, it is difficult because, even though it didn't get muddy, I would probably use 4 or 5 shades at the most when doing a look. So it's, I would be more specific about my color stories. I would like bring it down to maybe the browns with the blues on top, or I would say, we're going to do the oranges with, the sparkle shade and the gold on top. Like that's me, right? I'm not somebody who generally does olive green and yellow and then purple. Like that's not my taste. But many people are. Many people are more eclectic, more Baroque. And so I think if that's, what you're looking for, if you're the kind of person who does use a lot of different colors on your eyes, I mean, you cannot go wrong with this, any of the 9 pans. And then the last one, Singular, has the greens, what I call puce green, a lime green in it, oranges, a purple, which kind of comes out of nowhere, a brown that grounds it, and a yellow, a sparkly yellow, which is hard to really come up with. Now, for this look, I did use the liner today and the mascara. The mascara is anthracite, which is purple, and I did use the liner, which I think is flamboyant. So I did use the very bright orange liner and the purple mascara. And actually, it looks fine. It looks, I mean, it's a little eclectic for me, but I see how they can work together. I would not generally pair a purple mascara and a bright, flashy, flamboyant orange, but again, and greens on my eyes. So I have all the shades. I've blended them in different ways. You can watch how I put them on if you choose to do that, or you could just fast forward to the look. But what I would tell you is this one, although I think will be the one that most people shy away from because of the shades that are in here, it actually is quite pretty and quite beautiful because it's kind of like the Yucca palette from Natasha Denona. When I first bought it, I was like, the shades, yes, there's the puce and the lime, and maybe might not be the first thing that you think of, but when you blend them, or maybe they are your shades, then fantastic. But when you blend them, they actually look quite nice. Like I have the purple on the outside of this eye, but it's blended. It doesn't look like purple, green, orange. Like it looks like a cohesive, like I came up with this look. This was how I would just do my makeup. The bright, flamboyant liner is actually kind of fun and it looks nice. I personally, if I was gonna do this, I would probably take the flamboyant liner and use just the orange tones that are orange and brown tones, which are in these palettes. I'd probably use all 3 palettes and come up with a different look and then use the orange because I am more of a monochromatic person. The only time I'm not, it's interesting, is like my purses and my jewelry. I'm one of those people, I was having a conversation with someone today about practicality and designer and luxury. Luxury is, this again, all my take. Luxury is not practical. Luxury is not meant to be practical. The new Fendi bags, for example, the stuff on the inside that you open it up and it's all shimmery and shiny, that's not practical because you can't really put your hand in there or put anything in there because it will ruin the design. But I love that. That's what I love about design, real design, art, luxury. It's not meant to be practical. It's not meant to be your everyday thing. That's the whole point. It brings joy and art and, I don't know, something otherworldly to your everyday life. Practicality is, I have a whole bunch of sneakers now that I didn't own before because I spent a lot of time walking. I walk my dogs. I have a pit bull that needs to be walked. I'm going, like if I go to a convention, I need to walk around. I am not sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day where I can put on a pair of shoes that are like high heels that I can just take off. I don't have to put any pressure on because I don't have to actually walk. You know, when I used to have to go to Congress and walk around, you don't wear, you know that the thing about the women wearing like back in the 80s sneakers and then they had their heels in their bags? Yeah, it's because they walked to work or they took the tube or they took the train or whatever, wherever you are. Walking around Congress, if you're walking around the halls, you're not, you trust me on this, you need a comfortable pair of shoes. You're not walking in 3-inch stilettos. And if you are magic because, you know, at my age, it's gonna be painful. So this, to me, is fun and artistic and not practical at all. And I think that's great. I love it. There needs to be practical things too, of course, because we want those things, and that is an everyday choice. But to me, again, the joy of luxury design is that it's not practical and it's fun, and that's what I love about these. Even if I am the kind of person who's just probably gonna wear a monochromatic look on my face most of the time, I want to be able to have these types of things so that when I want to do something really artistic and fun, it exists. I do that with purses and jewelry as my artistic way of, you know, expressing my personality. For whatever reason, that's where I put it, you know, and sometimes I do it with my makeup, but rarely actually. I know how to, I just don't, it's not my personality. It might have something to do with growing up in Boston or a little bit more low key. Maybe if I lived in LA or Vegas or something, I would do more, you know, eclectic looks. But, you know, I wear comfortable shoes because it's not practical for me not to. I tend to wear monochromatic clothes because I am 5 feet tall. And when you wear disparate colors, like if you wear red and blue, like blue pants and a red shirt, it can look fabulous. In my opinion, if you're tall. When you're short, it kind of cuts you in the middle. To me, I don't think it looks as good, so I tend to wear monochromatic. But in my purses, I love something that's like fun and eclectic. Like I do not need to buy another black bag ever. I have 2 of them. I have my Kelly bag. I have my Chanel bag. I'm good. The rest of the bags that I want to buy for the rest of my life, I want them to be just so unique and different that people stop me and go, what is that? You know, that's what I want. I have the practical bag. I have 1 or 2 of them and then I'm good. Like I want to be, you know, fun in that way. And then I know other people love to have eclectic like shoes, or they love to have eclectic makeup or jewelry. I do express myself with jewelry as well. So like we all have our areas that we feel expresses our personality, whatever it happens to be. It could be your hair, it could be your makeup, it could be your fashion choices, your ready to wear, your shoes, your bags, whatever, your glasses. So I, although don't necessarily think I will wear these 3 palettes every day of my life, because I won't, I'm so thrilled that they exist. Because the formulas are excellent, they don't get muddy when you use them, and for the times that I want to do something fun, I can. Because they're the kind of formulas that are worth like playing with. When you get into like what I would probably do on a regular day basis, yes, I'll probably not, you know, wear a lot of eclectic colors, but I could see me taking this flamboyant liner and just wearing that as just being like, okay, that's fun. See, again, it just depends on your personality and what works for you. One of the reasons that I started the channel is because I feel like there's too many people, and I don't want to call anyone out, but I feel like social media is all about telling you all, you know, do this, be this, this is the right way, you need to have this. I feel like it's not my job to tell you what you should be or how you should look. It's for me to help you figure out what you want it to be, what you want to be. Do you want to have blue eyeshadow with green and yellow and flamboyant colored, liner? Great. Here's where you get it. Here's the good products. Here's the ones that have good formulas, whether they're $160 or $16. Like to revel in the just joy of artistry and makeup and luxury and all of it. The clothes, the shoes, the bags, that's what I think is fun about all of this. There's, I think, a joy that comes, at least for me, when I see something that's beautiful. I have rhapsodied enough about the collection. I think it's fun, and I'm glad that Chanel did it. It'll be very interesting to see what happens with Matthew Blasey and how he influences Chanel going forwards, because obviously they'll have somebody that's in charge of beauty and, specifically focused on the look. But as we all know, like Lagerfeld was involved with every single thing, every single decision that was made. And it'll be interesting to see with Blasey how he decides to run things and what the overall take of Chanel will be going forward. But again, for me, I love the collection. I love the holiday collection. The only thing I would say is that I don't love the rose blush highlighter. I feel like it's just so light that the only person it's going to really work on is somebody who's paler than me. The Pesh one, though, I am wearing today. And if you use a very dense brush on my skin tone, it actually looks quite nice. But again, it's for those of you who are like me that like a very light iridescent blush. If you want something very pigmented, don't buy either one, because you will be so disappointed, and they're expensive, so don't do it. Yeah, it's just not. It won't be worth it to you. The lac, the purple, everyone seems to really love it, so I'm going to embrace it. I'm gonna lean into it and wear it more often. I have late sun on right now just because I try to do the more orange. Again, monochromatic. I try to do more of the orange, but yeah, I'm just gonna start wearing it and see what happens. So if you have any questions or if you want specifics about the 9 pans, the holiday collection, let me know. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you in another video really soon.